Okay, chapter 15. Purushottama Yoga. Yoga of the Supreme Person. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Urdhmoolamadasyakam ashvattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavit. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So, inverted tree. Okay. Purport. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. This will come later. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. So the idea of knowing Vedas is to actually reach the conclusion. So if we have already reached the conclusion, then it means that we've already read the Vedas, because we've got the essence of all the Vedas, which is to serve Krishna. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. So please remember, entanglement of this material world is compared to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to banyan tree. What are fruitive activities? Activities where we are expecting some result for sense gratification, for enjoyment in this world. And fruitive activities normally means activities done as per Vedas, Karma Khanda, and not Kali Yuga type sinful activities for sense enjoyment. So there is no end to the banyan tree, which means that there is no end to realizing or trying to get fruitive fruits through all these kind of activities. So many kinds of things can be done. Just imagine banyan tree, such a big banyan tree. So you can one can remain engaged in fruitive activities. He wanders from one branch to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end. And for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. So we should not be attached to this material world, to this material body. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. This tree's roots grow upward because they begin from Brahma, from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. And so the Ulta tree, starting from Brahma Loka down. One can understand this indestructible tree of illusion. So this whole material world is illusion. So one should first understand it, then try to get out of it. This process of extrication should be understood. Extrication means pulling out. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of material entanglement. So this getting out of material entanglement is called extrication. Up to the 13th chapter, we've seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to transcendental service of the Lord. So this is the basic principle of devotional service. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upward. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represents the results of the living entity's activities, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So here, see, Prabhupada is saying basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to transcendental service of the Lord. But actually, in reality, what we do, we actually just focus on attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord automatically. Detachment, Gnanam cha ahaitukam, tadahaikutu. Knowledge and renunciation automatically come from bhakti. But then why is this chapter important? This chapter is important because if we are not developed detachment by practice of bhakti, now we will understand, because symptoms are all mentioned here, or how it has to be, how we should look at detachment, etc. Then we can understand that, okay, we are not doing the process properly because the effect is not happening. Now there is no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward, but there is such a thing. That tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and roots up. So if you have seen reflection of a tree on near a lake, if you see its tree, you can see the reflection, right? In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection is situated on desire. Whole material world is situated on desire. We coming to this material world is also desire. We getting out of this material world is also desire. Just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it. So this is for people who are not practicing bhakti. They will come to jnana, and through jnana, then they will develop detachment, and they'll keep searching. Where is Lord? Where is Lord? Where is Lord? Naiti. Finally, they'll come to Krishna. But for us, it is very easy because we already come to Krishna. Just that this detachment has to happen, and like I said, it is automatic side effect of bhakti. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, come Prakriti, Purusha, the three gunas, Pancha Mahabhuta, Dashendriya, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestations, then this material world is manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. So which means that if you consider a circle, a Brahman in the middle, whatever above is spiritual world, whatever below is material world. The material world is the perverted reflection. Perverted means something wrong, it is got distorted. It has perversion has a negative connotation, which means that a reflection can be harmless, but perverted is harmful, meaning it is somewhat. What is the definition of dictionary definition of perverted? One second. Perversion. Distort only. Corrupt the original course, meaning, or state. Distorted. So while in water, when you see a reflection in water of a tree, the water, if the water is moving, then the tree also appears to move. This is distorted, perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality, meaning this is the reflection. So if this is a reflection of something, that something must be there in the spiritual world. So everything that is there in the material world is there in the spiritual world. The Prakriti is the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the Purusha is the Supreme Lord himself, and that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Since this manifestation is material, it is temporary. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off the attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas, Karma Kanda, is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality Godhead himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the Spirit. spiritual world. And so however you see, ultimately it is to get out of this attachment to this material world. And unfortunately, how many ever times we hear this thing about that we should, gradually lose taste for this material world. Somehow it takes a long time. So can somebody try to answer why? Why does it take us a long time to develop this attachment, this detachment, or attachment to Krishna, or detachment from this material world? Why does it take time? Our first thing is, does it take time? And if so, why? Difficult question, is it?
Yes, Prabhu, it will take time because of, I think, our entanglement to the material creation since many years and many these things, lives itself, because of that.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Madhurya Mataji is saying because of anarthas. Okay. Because of anarthas, question mark, huh? Yeah, Prabhu.
It's about our own thing, right? So we have to release the, basically we have to loosen our own thing, right? We are actually holding it.
Exactly. So that is why the answer was there in this one. So I wanted to see if you
So
could connect
basically
the
it's
two.
like there was an analogy, I'm not sure where it is. So there is a monkey which is trying to take chana, right? What is that, ground? So he puts the hand in the chana, and then while taking out, he's not able to pull out the hand because the space is only there to basically take out the hand empty-handed. But this monkey is just holding on the chana, right? Because he wants to eat it. So basically he applies force, but due to this fist stuck in that hole, he is not able to pull it out. So the only thing which monkey has to do is to leave the groundnuts or whatever it is, and then easily the hand can come out. But it is like a catch-22 situation where you think that hand is not coming out because a hole is actually blocking my hand, but actually it's our hand which is trying to extract something out of it, and that is something which is blocking our hand to come out. So it's our attachment rather than material nature's attachment, I would say.
It is our desire. So basically the whole root cause of this slow detachment is our desire. We don't have the desire to detach ourselves. We somehow still see some kind of happiness in this material world, and since we are seeing that, and we have still not maybe experienced happiness on the spiritual platform to such a great extent, so we still have, okay, this is nice, okay, let me earn some money, okay, I can spend that money doing this, doing that, something else, let me buy a house, and sometimes devotees also, in the name of wants and needs confusion, say, okay, everybody buys a house, so I should also buy a house, no? And we'll answer it for ourselves, yes, we should buy a house. And then we go behind, done, many years committed. So like this, we create our own entanglements, and that is because we desire to get entangled. Nobody is forcing these things on us. Of course, there will be vasanas from previous lives, etc. But that also is because of our previous desires. But the beauty about bhakti is, however much the entanglement might be, if we sincerely desire now to get out of it, we can get out. And this is something that we should understand and accept. Because I've also seen devotees saying, no, it takes a long time. Somehow it is registered in the head saying that, no, this coming out of all this takes time. It's only for very few advanced devotees that they can, all these kind of speculative theories we've developed for ourselves, for our convenience. But the truth of the matter is that if we do Tivra Bhakti, nothing can stop us, nothing can hold us back. We can very, very quickly and easily get out of all entanglement. Now, getting out of entanglement doesn't mean getting out of responsibility. Getting out of the attachment of artificial attachment that we have on the material platform and artificial desire for enjoying this material objects. That is what needs to be cut off. Yukta Vairagya has to be applied. But so the answer to the question is that it is our own desire that we are entangled. Okay. Verse 2. Adaschordvam prashritastasya shaka gunapravruddha vishayapravala adascha mulanyanusantatani karmanubandhini manushya-loke. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. So this whole tree of material existence is nourished by the modes of material nature, which means that is the nourishment, meaning everything depends on these three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. The description of the banyan tree is further explained here. Its branches spread in all directions. In the lower parts, there are variegated manifestations of living entities, human beings, animals, horses, cows, dogs, cats, etc. These are situated on the lower parts of the branches, whereas on the upper parts are higher forms of living entities, the demigods, Gandharvas, and many other species of life. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that a tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water, and sometimes a tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionally greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. So what Prabhupada is saying here, in higher upper planets, mode of goodness is more, so we get demigods, Gandharvas. Middle planets, mode of passion is more, so we get human beings. Lower planets or lower living entities, mode of ignorance is more, so we get those. So wherever, based on the which material mode is nourishing more, according to that, different species are manifested. The twigs of the tree are considered to be the sense objects. By development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses. And by the senses, we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. The tips of the branches are the senses, ears, nose, eyes, etc., which are attached to the enjoyment of the different sense objects. The twigs are sound, form, touch, and so on, the sense objects. The subsidiary roots are attachments and aversions. Okay, so the subsidiary roots bind us. So the roots bind the human being to fruitive actions. Subsidiary roots means that are not the main roots but side roots, which are attachment and aversion, raga and dvesha, which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. Byproducts means that because of suffering and enjoyment, when we suffer, then we develop aversion. When we have sense enjoyment, we develop attachment. The tendency is toward piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots, which spread in all directions. The real root is from Brahmaloka, and the other roots are in the human planetary systems. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities in the upper planetary systems, he comes down to the earth and renews his karma or fruitive activities for promotion. This planet of human beings is considered karma bhumi, field of activities. So it's clear. Basically, it's all modes of nature, and because of modes of nature, we do karma, pious and impious. Because of pious, we have enjoyment. Because of impious, we have suffering, and because of this, we develop attachment and aversion. So this is the whole episode. What is happening in this material tree of material world? Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto nachatirna cha sampratishtha ashvattamenam suvirudha moolam asangashasтрena dridena chitva Tatapadam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prasuta purani. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of asanga shastra, weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. But it is now clearly stated that the real form of this banyan tree cannot be understood in this material world. Since the root is upwards, the extension of the real tree is at the other end. When entangled with the material expansions of the tree, one cannot see how far the tree extends, nor can one see the beginning of this tree. So when entangled with the material expansions, one cannot see how far the tree extends. I mean, people who are attached in this material world, they have no idea. I mean, same thing we are doing again, same things, buy, eat, go outside, do merry, and there's no end to this really. I mean, they cannot see the end, but they're not really interested in seeing the end also. They want this to continue forever, and the tree is unlimitedly spread in all directions, so it will keep going on forever. Yet one has to find out the cause. There is beginning, there is end. Somebody has to find out the cause. So he is saying, I am the son of my father is the son of such and such person, etc. By searching in this way, one comes to Brahma, who is generated by Garbhodakashai Vishnu. Finally, in this way, when one reaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the end of research work. One has to search out that origin of this tree, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the association of persons who are in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, basically devotees. Then by understanding, one becomes gradually detached from this false reflection of reality. Material world is a false reflection of reality. Gradually, by understanding, by coming to this platform of knowing the Supreme Lord, and by knowledge, one can cut off the connection and actually become situated in the real tree. The word asanga is very important in this connection because attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. What is this lording over? Can somebody explain with some example? What is lording over material nature mean? Saying lording over material nature is very strong. Anybody wants to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that
Hare
you explained that we try to be enjoyers, like we are seeking for sense gratification and we think we are the Lord. We want everything to be perfect. For example, we are brand conscious. We want the best of things for ourselves, like best of eating, best of things to satisfy our like sense.
Yeah. So it is our way or the highway. So everything has to happen the way we want it. And it's so strong that even in small things, the important thing about this lording over business is that it is not that we are only going behind big things. Even small things like, I don't know whether I said, like for example, toothpaste, toothbrush. We start from there. From there, everything has to be, I should like it. Whether will we say from tomorrow start using a toothpaste that somebody recommends, just saying, okay, your toothpaste is not good, use this. No, we will not. We'll say, no, why? I've been using this toothpaste for so long, I like it, I want to continue. Simple, small things like this we lord over. Actually, this lording over is it's so crazy behind this. We should keep reflecting on our actions. Whenever in a day we get irritated about something or we say, nay, this has to happen like this only, it is lording over. Unless it is connected to Krishna and devotional service, mostly it is lording over. Listen to what I say, I am the boss. Kitchen is my area, don't interfere. ये सब, all these kind of things is bossing over. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussing of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures, and one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. In Vedic parallel like language, one in knowledge means one who knows the knowledge and has put it into practice, and not one who simply knows theoretically. Vijnana has to be there. As a result of such discussion in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the first thing one must do is surrender to Him. The description of that place whence one having gone, one never returns, is given here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original root from whom everything is emanated. To gain the favor of that Personality of Godhead, one has only to surrender, and this is a result of performing devotional service by hearing, chanting, etc. It is the cause of the extension of the material world. This has already been explained by the Lord Himself, Am Sarvasya Prabhavaha, and the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of the entanglement of the strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically. So, which means that if you have not become detached from this material existence, which means that we have not surrendered to Krishna. Okay, so I think we'll stop here, because next is a beautiful verse which talks about how to surrender. So in these three verses, basically the whole focus is that this material world is perverted reflection of reality. It's an illusion, and from time immemorial we are attached to this, but this attachment has to be cut off. And how do we cut off this attachment? With determination, with the weapon of detachment. With determination and with the weapon of detachment. So first is we need to have determination. If we don't have determination, we have to associate with those devotees who have determination. Weapon of detachment. Fortunately for us, we don't have to go this other way, wherein we go get gnana, develop detachment, then slowly come to Krishna. Somehow, fortunately, we have directly come to Krishna. So automatically, the detachment should come in. We don't have to do anything. Like I said, if we do practice bhakti properly, we should develop detachment automatically. But we should have determination to cut off. We shouldn't create artificial reasons for being attached to this material world. At the same time, we should clearly understand what our responsibility is, and we should not misunderstand responsibility and attachment. Whatever is responsibility, we have to still continue to do. Not that suddenly we develop vairagya, renunciation. And here it is finally said that one has to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the next verse, a discussion about who will surrender, or how to surrender, who knows how to surrender. So we'll discuss this on Wednesday. Okay, any questions from anybody? This chapter is a little bit, some of these verses are a little bit technical, so whatever I knew about the subject I've discussed. Anything anybody wants to add, please feel free. Okay, there's nothing, then we can conclude. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna to everybody. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Ram Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.